Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Hayes.
And I'm Dylan Bracha.
We had a great Christmas week of NFL football and sports. We had a great NBA Christmas Day games. And crazy matchup, Ravens, 49ers, potential Super Bowl rematch showdown, and the Ravens get it done.
I mean, how many people were predicting that? Not many. Not that I saw, not that we predicted.
Not a blowout.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, 4 interceptions. I think the team in general had 5. Yeah. That's crazy.
He was looking terrible in the first half. All those first half picks. I mean, Ravens were getting to him pretty easy, and kind of panicked a little bit.
That game plan that the Ravens had worked. I don't know what they went into it with, but they flustered him and they got the ball. I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen Brock Purdy look like that really ever. I mean, they had that weird 3-game stretch where they weren't winning, but he didn't throw 4 interceptions in any of those.
Yeah, Purdy's never had a game like that. The Ravens have basically looked good in every single game they've played in this season, and man, they could be the favorite.
They really could. I mean, they could realistically. I don't know if they will, but they could stroll through the AFC.
They could, honestly. I mean, even like you look at their losses, it's in the division. It's the Steelers lost. They lost to the Colts in OT. I mean, good showing every single week.
They look really good, and that begs the question, is Lamar the MVP?
Man, I don't know. Everybody has him as MVP. I saw him in the sports books, like minus 200.
He is the favorite to win it now.
Heavy favorite, and next closest is McCaffrey, down at plus 400-ish. And, wow. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, he's leading a good team, but the stats are good. He has the argument. I think he's around 4,200 total yards. Not nearly as many touchdowns as some of the other contenders. I think it's going to depend on these last games. I think it's a lot closer than the odds would say.
I would agree. I mean, I think if you look at just this game alone, I think it favors McCaffrey even more. Like, without McCaffrey, they wouldn't have done anything that game.
That's a good
He had
point.
100 yards on the ground with a touchdown. Brock Purdy shit the bed. I think this has finally ended him in the MVP race because I personally couldn't see him as the MVP.
Right.
Too much talent around him.
Yeah.
And I think to be the MVP, like, you take the player away, what's the team look like?
Right.
Still solid.
Exactly.
I think you take McCaffrey away from the Niners. Mind you, they're full of good talent. I think the Niners are nowhere near the team they are right now.
Yeah, McCaffrey does a lot in terms of just blocking and just helping the offense.
I mean, he's not only just one of the best running backs in the league, he can catch the ball like a wide receiver can and then run after catch.
Yeah, McCaffrey's that next guy that they have listed. Brock Purdy seems to be out of it, even though he's still up there. I mean, that just seems to be the way the wind's going.
I couldn't put him in top 3 contention.
No, I'm not feeling him much. But another guy who's starting to gain a little traction is Josh Allen.
I don't see it.
I mean, the stats. I'll get some stats up for Josh Allen. He's been pretty good.
Listen, I'll defer it as soon as you read some stats. I'll put the kibosh on this.
All right.
But I would like to hear what you've got.
I know he's got the 15 interceptions, but he's got 14 rushing touchdowns. He has 27 passing touchdowns, 3,700 yards, 66% completion percentage, which is good. And the main argument Allen has is if they go and win the division, it gets a win. Dolphins need to lose to the Ravens, and then they have a showdown for the division title. If Allen can get that done and gets, say, 9 touchdowns in these last few games, he's up at 50. And that's going to be hard to argue, 50 touchdowns in the division win.
Yeah, but you got to look at the touchdown interception ratio, the turnover ratio in general. He's got to be close to 20, and that's without these last 2 games being played. I don't know how many fumbles he has, but you said the 15 picks.
Yeah, I'll get the fumbles
I
lost.
think that's what takes away. Like, you look at Jameis Winston had 50 touchdowns one year, but he also had 30 interceptions. Like, you have to weigh the turnovers in there. You have to. And
right.
I do credit him for the running touchdowns. That's great. A lot of them's 1-yard sneaks, though.
I mean, some of them. I mean, a lot less than Jalen. I mean,
yes, Jalen's going to lead the league in that by far, but I mean, Josh Allen's, all of his touchdowns rushing is not like Lamar. Lamar will run for 20 plus. Right. Josh Allen's a 5-yard max almost rushing touchdown guy.
I got to give Josh Allen credit. He's greatly reduced his fumbles this year. Last year he fumbled 13 times, lost 5. This year he's only fumbled 4 times and lost 3. Which is, I mean,
That's
pretty good.
that's good numbers. He's not running the ball as much as last year, and that was, I think, a big thing for the Bills to work on was him not running the ball so recklessly. He still does it here and there, but you flip the numbers though. Like he's thrown 15 interceptions.
Right.
You don't want to be anywhere near that.
No, I hear you. I just think, he's up at the 400 yards too. So in total, he's up around 41, which puts him among the league leaders in yards gained. And then when he's up almost double Lamar's passing touchdowns. So, that's just something that's going to be considered.
They also have 7 losses though.
Right. It's going to be
That's the big difference if you're going to give it to a quarterback between Lamar and Josh Allen. Turnover ratio is lower,
right.
Yards are about the same, and your win-loss is much different.
And then one thing, I know it shouldn't be a factor, but I think it will be. Lamar's won an MVP before.
That's true.
I think if it's a toss-up, and let's just say Josh Allen gets to 50 touchdowns on the year, it's gonna be close. Honestly,
it's weird because it's like I don't think Lamar's done enough to really be the MVP.
Right? He hasn't gone out and got it.
Yes, they're winning games. I do know if you take Lamar away from the Ravens, they're nowhere near as good.
Right.
But they do have like mini Lamar in the quarterback room. So they would have won games. Like they made the playoffs last year without him.
Yeah.
They're not a 12-win team like they are right now, but they're going to be a 10-win team maybe.
That's true. The Bills suck without
the
Josh
Bills
Allen.
Have Kyle Allen at the back end, and he's not good.
He's not the Allen you want.
But I still think he's made enough mistakes that's lost them games. Lamar hasn't done that. Christian McCaffrey hasn't done that,
Right,
which is
that's
why
true.
my main argument is still Christian McCaffrey.
It's to me like right now. Just the way I see the season going, I think it's a 3-horse race between those. I'm trying to see if there's anyone. There's Dak, but I don't.
I
think
was
either of us
just
are.
about to say I don't know who else is in the race, and Dak was in it. He's fallen out of grace of the bettors,
Right.
the odds.
Right.
That doesn't really surprise me. He hasn't really done much.
Tua.
I was just about to say Tua's in there. I don't think Tua. We're talking about the best wide receiver in football stats wise is Tyreek. You take him away, what's he got?
Yeah. I think it's really a 3-horse race between Lamar, McCaffrey, and then Allen.
I would say Allen over Brock Purdy and Tua easily.
Absolutely. I agree.
But I don't think he should be.
Tua. There's too much with Tua. It's the Tyreek Hill conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe that shouldn't be the case. Tua has had a really good year. But
to take it back though, they've only beaten one team over 500. We'll get to that game, but that's another part when you facing these teams that aren't as good. That does come up.
Tua's not my MVP.
No.
He's had a good year though.
Better
you
than
can make the argument
yeah.
if that's the route you want to go, but it's just I don't see him getting the MVP. I just don't see a route. And the reason ultimately is because I think Josh Allen's going to beat him in that game.
He's already beat him once.
Right.
I will give him that. They have beaten him before.
Yeah. I guess it could be close.
Could be a crazy
between
game.
them. We'll, it'll be big for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
It'll have massive playoff implications, honestly.
Well, let's talk about that Miami game now. We're talking about Tua.
Yeah.
They do finally get a win over a 500 team, plus 500 team.
Yeah.
They beat the Cowboys in a very, very close game.
Not how I saw the game going.
No.
Honestly, it was kind of a.
It started out, and I thought the Cowboys were gonna just cook them. Like that first drive they had, they just looked nasty. CeeDee Lamb, back-to-back deep catches.
They look good. It was a resilient effort, I think, from the Dolphins.
Yeah, so the momentum shifted right away. They took the lead after halftime. They piled on, and then the Cowboys skip back in it. They tie the game, and Miami just goes down the field and kicks a game winner.
Right.
Good for them. That was a good game. I didn't know who was going to win towards the end of that game.
Right. They're similar teams that, they're kind of on similar levels, I feel. They're like tier 2-ish teams. But I want to see Miami, where we will get the chance to see them.
They have 2 big games coming up.
Ravens, Bills. So, we'll see what they're made of, honestly.
I feel like we both have the same agreement on where we stand with them. So, they have to upset one of those 2.
Yeah, Dolphins Ravens will be good TV, I think. And maybe it'll be high scoring. The Ravens are probably going to need to score some points. I don't know if they'll be able to just stifle the Dolphins completely, but I do see the Ravens getting it done.
Well, that Ravens defense, they've
good.
been very good.
Very good.
Very good. So, I mean, if they can stifle them a little bit, that'll be enough for them to get by, I think.
I agree. I mean, the Ravens seem to be kind of a juggernaut. I mean, to blow out the 49ers is a huge
I mean, they've
deal.
blown out a couple really good teams.
Right.
You know, they blew out the Lions, held them scoreless. Who else have they blown? I mean, they've been good this year. They've been really good.
It feels like it's going to be Ravens-Niners Super Bowl.
I would have to agree. And, I mean, they seem to be the two best teams in each conference.
Yeah. I mean, we're at an interesting spot, too. I mean, the Niners, let's see. So they got to beat the Dolphins. Let's say they don't, man. The Eagles are back in the driver's seat for that 1 seed.
Who do the Niners have to beat?
They got to beat no. My bad.
Yeah,
they got Commanders Rams. I got a little confused.
The Rams won't be as easy as like
Not a
just
cakewalk,
saying. They should beat them, but because divisional, you know, it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
But they should kind of soar this week pretty
Yeah.
easily.
We got some really close matchups. I feel like there's implications everywhere.
Oh, dude, this is probably going to be one of the most, close-knit playoff race we've had in a long time. Like, I mean, there's 12 teams still in it for the AFC.
Everyone's 8-7. I mean, there's this big chunk: Steelers, Bengals, Jags, Colts, Texans. There's probably 2 playoff spots in that. Between those teams. One the last wild card in the division in the South. So, man, it's close.
It really is. It really is.
Steelers get a big win over the Bengals, almost just for parity.
Yeah, balance. I mean, like, it just seemed like that game was so backwards to what anybody thought was going to happen. Like, Mason Rudolph starts. Yeah. Who's thinking he's going to ball? Jake Browning has been balling.
Right.
He goes out and throws a stinker. I think he had 3 picks. Mm-hmm. That was just a weird game. But, I mean, that's huge for the Steelers. They're keeping their hopes alive. I think if they lose that game, they were done.
You got to keep going with, I don't care how healthy Pickett gets. You need to stay with Rudolph, in my opinion.
So far, he's looked the best.
Veteran, you can't, he's a veteran. He's been there.
He's been around.
He's had a lot of starts at this point. And it showed, he's able to connect with Pickens right away.
Yeah, that's something future of the Steelers, I mean, you have to have that going because he looked awesome.
They have really good position players, but they're all angry. Like, they're the recipe for drama because they just have no QB. But this is their best shot. And you know what? It's too bad they didn't go with this all year because this is a decent team. They've wasted a good year of TJ Watt. They wasted a good year of Hayward. He's probably done. They wasted good years for their players, and it's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, from one wide receiver to another, though. Do you see Amari Cooper's day this past weekend?
Yeah, he won some fantasy championships.
Dude, he had like 50 points,
Insane.
He had 10-plus catches, 250-ish yards.
11
there you go.
catches, 265, and 2 touchdowns. That's
I mean,
elite.
he sets the franchise record for yardage for the Browns. He had a nuclear game. I mean, Joe Flacco was slinging it. I couldn't believe those numbers. I mean, Cooper hasn't had those numbers yet this year in terms of consistency. He kind of had just one of those games where nobody could guard him. Yeah,
he hasn't had a game like that in a few years. He used to do that in Dallas sometimes, have those really big games. And he's that kind of receiver, He's got excellent route running skills, and he can get it done.
I think this, of all things, has shown that Cleveland's not going to be a pushover in the play. I wouldn't want to face them.
Definitely not. Good defense. And
that defense is really strong. I mean, the offense seems to be clicking.
Yeah, Flacco gets yardage. I mean, he might turn the ball over. He might throw a couple picks, but he's going to move the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they already beat the team that they potentially could line up against in the Jags. I mean, they handled them.
And that's not a bad recipe if you have an elite defense, something you can count on.
Then just like a consistent offense.
Yeah, it's like sling it, Flacco. I mean, we might get some turnovers, but then we can count on the defense to maybe stop them to a field goal, and then you keep going because you're going to maybe get it 2 out of 3 times. We're going to have long touchdown drives, and then that's a recipe for success maybe.
I mean, hey, I don't know what we're going to get from this team come playoff time, but I think they're a lock for the playoffs, which makes it very interesting when it comes to seeing what they can bring to the playoffs.
I think it's good for the NFL that the Browns are in the playoffs. I think they're a fun team. They're a lot more fun than the Steelers.
They have a really good story going right now. I mean, Joe Flacco's redemption arc. He's now in the odds for comeback player of the year.
That's kind of silly.
Wow.
Yeah, he said, I didn't want it. I was just at home.
He was on his couch. They called him up.
Yep. And, Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm never going to, be upset about one of these, early 2010s quarterbacks, showing out. It's just nostalgic. It's just nice. It's like they're all retiring, it's Rodgers is the only one left basically.
Yeah, there's not a lot
of
Flacco,
and I don't know who else. Russell Wilson.
I mean, you have Russ, Kirko, and Tannehill round out the top 5 oldest. So.
Yeah, and then even Kirk, he was drafted in like 2012.
Yeah, I know. It's not even like crazy long ago, but he is one of the older quarterbacks.
Yeah, but it's like it's crazy. Stafford, I guess.
Stafford, he is up there too. So.
Yeah, but good to see Flacco going.
How about the Lions clinching their division for the first time ever?
Lions get it done. Hate to say it. I was definitely rooting for the Vikings. I thought it would be funny if they backdoored them a little bit. But
it was close.
They got it done. I mean, I gotta say, in the first half, I felt that the Lions were getting some help from the refs big time. I felt that touchdown was definitely a fumble. It kind of seemed like. And then there was another one a little later on. But I mean, props to the Lions. They get it done.
Yeah, they stuck it out.
They stuck it out. It was a close game. Vikings are not an easy team to go beat. Not an easy team to put 30 on.
No.
They did it.
Yeah.
So good for them. Goff, played well.
He did play well, and I mean, there's a reason why he's commanding the offense. I mean, he's been solid all year. He's had his down games here and there, but he looked like Jared Goff that you expect for that team.
Right, 30 of 40. I mean, 257 under pressure. He did good.
I'll take that. As a quarterback, I would love to have that kind of performance. I mean, I think he threw 2 or 3 touchdowns on top of that.
It was just the one.
Was it just the one?
But yeah, I mean, Gibbs got in the end zone twice.
Gibbs been on fire as of late.
Touchdown to Amon-Ra, and Montgomery got one in too.
Oh, okay.
So,
there you go.
Good rushing attack from the Lions. Really typical game from them. But
that's what you need, though. I mean, you want a good run game to complement the offense.
Haven't honestly seen a team be able to run on like that on the Vikings, to my knowledge. So props to them for being able to play their game against a good run defense team. Because I didn't think they'd be able to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, one team that couldn't play their game this week, the Chiefs.
Yeah, they are struggling.
They are really struggling. Back-to-back, they had a fumble to touchdown and then a pick six. Right. Back-to-back plays on offense. Brutal game for Mahomes and the Chiefs.
You know what's interesting about the Chiefs, and I think we've reached a new generation or something for them, because if this happened a couple years ago, they go down a couple scores on some trick plays and a pick six that go wrong. You're like, damn, that sucks. But you have Patrick Mahomes, and they're going to come back and obviously score 38, 40 points, and it's going to be okay. That's not the case. They can't they can only muster up 2 touchdowns throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell's not even throwing the ball.
He had 62 passing yards.
Just in the first quarter.
Just in the first quarter, nothing passed.
And they abandoned the pass game.
Yeah.
Wild time. Devontae with 1 catch and 4 yards. He's got to be beside himself at this point.
I mean, he's going to be upset, but they're still finding a way to win some of these games.
They're finding a way to win. I don't know how much Devontae cares about all that. But, and I'm not saying Devontae isn't a team guy. I'm just saying he came here for a specific reason. He thought Carr was his guy, and now he's with O'Connell, and they're running a high school offense. He's just like, what the hell is my career?
I do feel like next year they need a quarterback. They'll draft someone, and I don't know how they move around with the quarterback room, because obviously O'Connell's had moments here and there. Jimmy G's under contract for bigger money, so it's going to be hard to just dump that. And it's going to be hard to sign somebody in there. Right. Maybe a Minshew or something. Like, that's one of those ones.
Jump over to the other conversation, but Russell Wilson, maybe?
I don't know, because he's got so much money under contract. So maybe they trade. Yeah. And that's how that gets done. But
well, it's looking. I don't think anybody's trading for Russ at this point.
Right. He's got like $37 million.
He has
guaranteed
very
next
negative
year.
trade value. And this is speculation, but I think if the Broncos wanted to trade him, they would need to give up multiple first-round picks to get rid of the contract. Yeah. So my assumption is that there's going to be a cut. That's what I've been hearing out of this, and they're going to save themselves $40 million in 2025 by doing it.
Getting rid of guaranteed.
Now. And that will help them.
Man, that could be something though.
So I think he's going to be a free agent.
That could be something. Because imagine you get him for like 15, 20 million.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
still
you would
might
take
be
him
too
for
much.
That. You would take him for 15, 20 mil. You'd take him for the Jimmy G contract,
Right.
right? But the Broncos are Sean Payton. I'm interested to see how this goes.
I don't know, man. First of all, I know we're getting off track from what we were talking about, but now we're talking about the Broncos. Fuck the Broncos for losing to us. I can't believe they throw that. I was watching the first drive, and I was so happy they get the fumble first play. They are in the red zone, and they don't score. They were on the 7-yard line.
Heartbreaker.
They go for it. Why didn't they even kick 3?
The giant doink.
Yeah, I can't believe that. And then they allow them to hit a 56-yarder. Chad Ryland, for as bad as he is, of course hits that.
Finally, he comes through. He's been unbelievable in the worst possible way.
Yeah. I can't.
He's he always seems to do the opposite of what you would want him to.
Yeah, I was happy when he missed that kick in New York against the Giants. That was what I wanted. And then now he's hitting a 56-yard bomb.
Bam.
For the win. Now we're 4th in the draft standings. I think we've pretty much cooked our chances of getting who I've wanted. So mediocrity for quite a while for us.
Shit. I mean, it's an interesting scenario. I mean, maybe you get one Cardinals win here, can jump up to 2.
Man, I don't know. We're behind Washington somehow. I don't know how that works because I thought they beat us.
Let me look at the.
Yeah, Washington's in 3rd.
Wow.
We're both 4-11.
Yeah, it's the strength of schedule. So I guess. So Washington's played. It's really close though.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
I
don't know how that works.
Could end up at 3. Ultimately, it's probably going to be Williams, and then. Yeah, so you might get Harrison. You might get Harrison at 3. I don't know about 4.
No, not at 4.
Definitely not at 4, but 3.
Well, I mean, if Washington's above us, I don't see them drafting him. But I don't know. I don't see who benefits the most. I mean, I don't know.
What's really fun, and I hate to say it, but Arizona and Washington are both very likely to want to trade up 2-1 for Williams.
Yeah.
And you know what that means is that the Bears go down to 2 and probably take Arizona.
I know. I mean, I would say I think every team would benefit off getting him, but I look at look at that team, the Bears. DJ Moore doesn't get fed the ball enough.
Yeah.
I look at the Cardinals. They don't really have a true 1, but they need help everywhere. Kyler's good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they don't get the ball enough to Terry McLaurin in Washington. So it's another one where it's if you're going to draft a guy, then you're going to have to eventually, I don't know. I
don't think the Bears are a lock for drafting Harrison.
Yeah.
I think they could go a different direction, but I think if they're not drafting Harrison, they're probably trading down.
I think the Cardinals end up taking him, which is why I wanted to stay ahead of them so much. And that's what hurts. I feel of all the things, yes, they need defense, but you add a guy like that.
That's a tough one. I mean, they're likely to stay around 4, but hopefully Bill doesn't get the guys going.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to do a mock draft on here once we get towards that time.
Honestly,
but
fun.
it would be all fun, and we could do a couple because you know how the combine works and everything.
Absolutely.
But that's down the road.
Right.
Let's talk about some more things that happened this past week. How about the Rams on Thursday night? They almost solidified themselves in the playoffs,
right?
According to analytics,
the Rams look really good. Honestly,
yes.
They figured things out. They got the Puka Nacua Cooper Cup combo.
Yeah.
They got Stafford's been slinging it, making some Super Bowl like throws, like he was making against the Bengals, low key. I think they have a shot with
Kyron Williams too.
Been
looking awesome.
Excellent running back.
Yeah,
very agile, quick feet.
I like him. I hope he can stay healthy for them.
Yeah, no, he's a guy, honestly.
Yeah.
He'll be elite for probably 3 years. And they got some pieces on their defense. Aaron Donald. We don't really know a lot of big names on that defense.
Yeah.
But they're
still making plays.
Got it going. They really do. I like the Rams.
Yeah, I do too. Saints pretty much eliminated at this point.
Saints are done. They've been done.
They have been done, but again, going off analytics and the percentages, now they're down to 20%.
Oh yeah,
to make it after the loss. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And now I believe it's around 80, 81, I think I saw for the Rams to make the playoffs. It's not a lock, but all they got to do is probably win one more game, and they'll be in.
Good for the Rams.
Yeah.
I think they deserve it. And I just got to say, nobody wants to see the Saints in the playoffs. I don't even know if Saints fans want to see that. So get the Bucks in there.
I would
do the league a favor.
Bucks, now we're talking about it. They're first in their division, looking great. What a win they had against the Jags.
I want the Bucks in the playoffs.
I do too.
It's a great win for them. They looked really good doing it. 30-12, dominant performance. Baker's been on a tear.
All right, now we talked about Flacco in the running. This is my player for comeback player of the year. Baker Mayfield, written off multiple times. He's had a great season.
Huge year. 26 touchdowns to 8 picks, 3,600 yards. Excellent year.
He's been balling. He's got them positive in a division that obviously has been a mess, but like they're 8-7 now in control of their own destiny. I like them. I like the Bucks, and I mean like. Their offense is clicking. The defense is starting to find their rhythm, which has been a weird spot for them the past 2 years.
Yeah.
They're finally putting something together there. And I mean, they held the Jags to 12 points. Like, that's impressive.
Baker Mayfield's career arc is just ridiculous.
It really is.
Coming from the Browns, leading them to the playoffs a couple times. Then he goes to the Panthers. Doesn't work out. He's cut.
Yeah.
Rams has that
4-day, 3-day turnaround where he gets the win on a game-winning drive.
Shows everyone this is who I am.
Yep. Then he has a kind of weird end of season phase where he doesn't have it.
Right.
And now
he's best season of his career, highest completion percentage of his career. He's closing in on most yards in a season for himself. Most touchdowns. He just needs one more for to tie that.
Yeah.
And all while taking care of the football. You know, 8 picks. That's excellent.
That's
compared
pretty
to where
good.
he was.
Yeah.
He had 21 interceptions in 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, he is leaps and bounds.
I mean, like, it goes back to he was written off.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't want to talk about the Bucks. They thought they were going to be so bad now that Baker was there. And it's like, all right, hold up. Let's slow down. And now I'm it's just happy to see. I've liked Baker out of college. I thought Cleveland did him dirty. I thought them moving on from him was a big mistake.
Gross.
Obviously, they're still doing well right now, but I think in the time, like, we're going to see this collapse soon.
Yeah.
They're still going to be in cap hell when it comes to Deshaun.
They may be doing well and it's fun now, but, you know.
It's fun now because it's not Deshaun Watson.
Right. You're paying $200-something million to that QB room and you're not using it. So
yeah, I mean, it is like I feel bad because I love Nick Chubb and he's out for the season. They've got the most cap on IR out of any team and they're still doing well. But I think you don't have that. I mean, yes, injuries still happen, but I mean, I don't think you would have had that problem if Baker was your guy the last couple of years.
No,
I think they would have been a consistent playoff team and a borderline divisional winner every year.
They would have been pretty steady if they had just kept Baker, but Stefanski was not happy. He needed to do whatever they've been doing for the last couple of years.
Yeah, so it's just a big ups to him. I've liked what I've seen from him, and I mean, this was just a great game from them. Really happy to see.
Props to the Bucks.
On to the Eagles getting a win. They finally win one, breaking their losing streak. They almost coughed it up to the Giants, which if you're an Eagles fan, you're really starting to feel the pressure of this collapse coming.
Yeah, this is the closest thing that you can get to a loss and a win. I mean,
they do take back control of the division over the Cowboys. But man, oh man.
Feeling good. I mean, you get a win.
You're back to a home field playoff game.
DeAndre Swift looked good. I mean, not in the wild card position, which has got to be kind of a sigh of relief. But Eagles aren't satisfied. Eagles came into that game knowing they were going to win. It was just a matter of how much, and they didn't look as good as they wanted to.
Good,
honestly.
I think if you're the Eagles, you're going to have to circle this wild card matchup because it could be bad. They could get the wrong team and mess them up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Eagles they'll get it right against a team
like
the Lions, I would think, or a team.
Well, they won't play them first round.
Right. So they're going to be like a 2-seed-ish?
Yeah, I would say probably 2-seed. They probably get the Rams. Maybe they get, I don't know who slips in there.
Yeah, it's going to be one weird team.
They should, like, I'm not saying they should be around one exit, but it, like, of all the teams to be like, that's a surprise, it wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely could happen. There's probably going to be one team or an 8-7-ish. It'll probably be the Seahawks.
Ooh. See, that's another one where, like, they beat them.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a scary matchup if I'm the Eagles, you know?
Yeah, no, it could be the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks got a big test against the Steelers. I'm excited for that game.
That should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Last thing I got from a little recap here: Falcons beat the Colts.
Interesting stuff. I mean, the Falcons are one of the most topsy-turvy teams. They seem to win when you expect them to lose and lose when you expect them to win. I don't even know what to make of them. I guess they're in the playoff hunt since their division sucks, but I don't know if that's
I
much
feel
to
like
me.
they're pretty close to out, but yes, they are still in the hunt. They would need the Bucks to collapse pretty much, and I mean they've just looked too good.
Right. So the Falcons at this point, I mean, ultimately I see them losing to the Bears next week, but like I mean, I guess they're in the race, but it's not a season I think you can put your name on and be like,
I was going to say, would you even want to make the playoff? I mean, obviously the answer is yes, but like in the grand scheme,
I mean,
I don't think they should.
Yeah, when you're at that 7 seed area and you're really not a good team, like you do start to think like, do we even want to be here? I mean, like, yeah, it's nice you play another game, but it's like,
and of course you throw in the you never know, but
yeah.
If I was the Falcon, I mean, that team shouldn't be in the playoffs, and I don't think they do.
No, I want to see the Bucks get in from
Yeah,
that division.
yeah, I do too. They're the only team I would want to see, and
Right.
I mean, like the rest of them just aren't good.
Agreed.
And the Bucks aren't great, but the rest aren't good.
Right.
Colts, I think, have lost their playoff spot. I think that loss solidified them as out.
Yeah, I mean, they're still one game back, or they're tied actually for first.
I mean, it's a huge tie.
Right.
But I mean, I think the Jags get back on track, right? At some point.
I'm not sold on that.
I'm not, but like they should. They are on paper the best team in the division.
The Jags have looked so bad.
Yeah.
I just think maybe Lawrence never got fully recovered. I'm just reading right here. Lawrence says his shoulder's sore, doesn't plan on doing much today. Like he's beat up.
He is beat up, and I mean, I think every team in that division though is all beat up, and that's what sucks because we could have had really good football from those 3 teams that are like all in the hunt.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad we're seeing competition, but we lost Anthony Richardson. We lost Tank Dell. We've lost C.J. Stroud for a couple games. I mean, Trevor's been on this weird. I feel like something's wrong, but he won't come out and say it.
Yeah.
Those are your 3 quarterbacks right there, all dealing with stuff. I'd like to see the healthy competition between them.
That division's coming down to it. There's a really likely scenario we come into it with every team 9-7 going into week 18 it is now.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I don't even know how all the tiebreakers go. I'm hoping that maybe it's the Texans or the Colts out of them because the Jags are not even fun to me at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Their defense has been terrible, but it is a good defense. And like that's not to take away from the fact that the Texans and the Colts both have a good defense as well. But I just think the offenses don't match the Jags. Like they should. Like obviously Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the second coming. At some point, he's supposed to be the elite quarterback.
Right.
I haven't seen it yet. They're still kind of struggling. So I don't know. I think the Jags will take the division.
We will see. Time will tell.
So let's just talk about real quick upcoming 3 quarterbacks benched this week. We saw it in the games for Sam Howell and Tommy DeVito. Tyrod Taylor will get the start for the Giants, and Jacoby Brissett, I think this should have happened months ago, will be starting for the Commanders. Just excited to see that. Jacoby had a great year last year, and he's been riding the bench. I don't really know why. I think at some points they could have switched Sam Howell out and seen what Jacoby can do. I mean, this is the weird time to put him in against the Niners, but
yeah, I mean the Commanders have been kind of the worst team in the league for
a while. They're just not good. They've gotten a couple iffy wins.
Yeah, and Sam Howell, I mean,
it's not his. I don't think it's his fault, but like, I don't see him being when I talk about it, Terry McLaurin not getting the ball enough. That's on him.
Yeah,
I understand the O-line's bad, but you have an elite wide receiver. Why aren't you throwing to him ever?
Right. I think Sam Howell showed everybody that he's a good backup quarterback in this league, which is something. Mm-hmm. That I guess that was the point of this season, kind of for the Commanders, to see what we got in Sam Howell. And you've all right, you have a backup. You got to move on.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to look for maybe trade up.
Yeah.
Grab one of the quarterbacks, or unless you like Michael Penix or something.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, one of those guys. But otherwise, you're trading up or getting a free agent or trading. There are options. Kirk Cousins, we talked about it. But man,
I really don't know. I just like they obviously need an O-line. Like
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Sam Howell's been sacked the most in the league, and it's not close.
He's not even.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten hurt because he's taken hits every game.
He's tough.
He is tough, and his numbers aren't bad,
No.
but they're not winning games.
It's not, and I don't want to put it all on Howell, but the Commanders will be moving on, and it's just the circumstances, new ownership. They want to win, and Sam Howell is not that name that's going to get it. And they could be another team that's looking into Russell Wilson.
I mean, he's benched this week. Obviously, that's gonna. What I've heard is financial reasons.
Right.
They don't want him to get hurt and risk having to pay him $37 million guaranteed.
Because if he fails the physical, then they would have to pay him in 2025 like $40 million.
Yeah. So obviously they're looking at we don't have a big shot at making the playoffs this year. They're not out, but they really are. So obviously the risk reward isn't there. But like you said, maybe they just cut him. They take the hit next year.
Yeah.
They do whatever they want to do for quarterback. Maybe Stidham looks all right these 2 weeks, and they say, well, we'll take the cap hit and just play this year.
Yeah, I think I do think they will go for a quarterback, despite the fact that they will have that massive cap hit. Sean Payton is more worried about the run game, more worried about the trenches. He still wants a quarterback who can get the ball to the receivers, though. So
they have wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like you obviously would want to get somebody who can do that.
You got Sutton.
You got Judy, who he hasn't. Yeah.
You're looking for someone who can maybe you want someone who can get the ball to the receivers consistently and run a professional offense. Russell Wilson wants to throw the ball down the field all the time, and it's just not a good match. It's not a good match at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think Peyton ever wanted him, but I mean, it didn't go terribly, but it didn't go well.
Yeah, I mean, they turned it around, and I said this a few weeks ago. I said the first loss they get, it's kind of gonna ruin their little fairy tale run.
True.
And I mean, that's what we've seen. We've seen them get flustered again. We've seen them fall back to mediocrity, and their level of play hasn't been the same. Russ hasn't been elite this year. No. His numbers haven't been terrible. But I do credit a lot to everybody else around him. And that's what we've seen. We've seen them fall right back apart, unlike what they were.
And I'll say for Russell Wilson, he earned himself a job next year, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
It depends on the contract because you could get an overpay there, and then I would say that's a bad call.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, his pride's going to have to come in too. Like he might say, I don't want to play for $15 million. I want to play for at least 20, 25.
Well,
and teams might be like, well, we haven't seen that out of you, and we're not paying that.
Yeah, I mean, he might get that 3-year 25 from like the Cardinals or something like that.
I don't know about the Cardinals. They got Kyler for big money.
Yeah,
he's like 180 for his contract. I guess
maybe they'll stick with Kyler. I think there's going to be a lot of movement among quarterbacks this year. Man, I would not. If I was a new head coach, and I would inherited Kyler Murray, I would probably try to do what I could to move on.
Man, just even though he's played all right.
I mean, he's been okay.
Yeah.
He's just not the ideal. He's not my ideal quarterback. But he's been fine. Yeah, weird situation. Cliff Kingsbury was interesting. That whole Cardinals regime was interesting. But
I didn't think Cliff ever really had a good grasp.
No,
and that kind of hurt him.
He's a good OC.
Yeah, I think that would have helped. I don't think he had it rolling for them, and I think that hurt Kyler.
Yeah, he is like I think a QB guru type kind of guy, but I don't know. I think maybe Kyler. They should have maybe tried to tailor the offense to Kyler Murray a little bit.
They didn't really ever get him. I mean, D-Hop and him were great, and then obviously that fizzled out. Kyler couldn't stay healthy. I don't know what you're going to get. You probably don't give him nearly as big of a contract as he has.
No.
Going forward. But, I mean, there's still upside to him.
Yeah, and one thing very notable with Kyler, completion percentage year 1, 64, then 67, up to 69 and 21. Then we're down to 66 and 22, and now he's at 62.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
He doesn't have a lot of weapons to throw to. I mean, Trey McBride's been his best guy.
Right. 21 is peak of Hopkins.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough when you take away some help. I don't know. We'll see as the season ends because we can predict all we want, but we don't know what the standings are going to look like.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true.
So
it's true.
Want to do some picks?
Absolutely.
We tied last week at 10-10. Good showing. A couple upsets
Finally,
here and there,
finally.
and we got some of them right. But
Yeah.
we did have a good week in terms of both of us having good predictions.
Awesome.
So we can start with Thursday. Jets Browns. This is interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm going Browns all the way there. I don't think the Jets have much going. We don't know if it'll be Simeon or Wilson, and I don't really care. I think Flacco gets it done.
Yeah, Flacco playing his former team here. Probably going to look for some measure of revenge.
Oh yeah,
I'd say it's a revenge game.
because the Jets were calling and or not calling. And
Yeah.
Flacco was calling the Jets.
He actually called them to
Right.
play. They didn't pick him up.
Right.
I would love to see him continue this story and,
Oh, yeah.
and beat him.
You can book it in. That's
Yeah.
the Browns thing for sure.
I am taking the Browns. I think the defense just absolutely demolishes whatever they have on offense.
Easy.
So
That's an easy one.
yeah,
Lions Cowboys.
not as easy.
Not
But
as easy.
this is a fun Saturday night. The only game we're getting on Saturday. This one will be fun.
Oh, it's poor things. Yeah, Lions Cowboys. Freaking college football is coming back, so we can't.
Yes.
Lions Cowboys. I mean, we learned
This is
a
a
lot
toss
in
up.
this game.
This is a huge one in terms of where the NFC is going to stand. Because
Cowboys. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the Cowboys do well here. I can't really say why. I mean, the Lions are pretty good, and they've showed the ability to stack up against good defenses, but I don't know if they have the offensive linemen to deal with the Micah Parsons of the world, the DeMarcus Lawrence.
yeah,
Give me the Cowboys for sure.
I want to pick the Cowboys. They are at home and they're undefeated at home, but I think the Lions make a huge statement win here. Just like they did week 1.
This would be a big one.
I feel like they really stamped, like they've won their division. I think they're riding really high right now, and I think the vibes there is really good. I think the Cowboys, towards the end of the season, right now their morale has to be low after back-to-back losses. I don't know. This one can go either way. I like the Lions here.
It'll be a close
This one will be fun.
It'll be a close one for some variance. Titans, Texans, AFC South, pretty big
Man,
implications.
these two just played.
Yeah, Titans are out, but
They
Texans are
wouldn't
still
mind playing spoiler to the division team.
Definitely not. Yeah, the Will Grier experiment. The Texans have seemed to be faltering a little bit as of late. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm taking the Titans. I think they play a little spoiler here.
I was gonna say maybe they play spoiler, but I kind of like the race heating up and
Yeah.
being them all close. They beat him with Case Keenum. I think CJ is gonna come back for this one. I mean, not like they have all their weapons there, but I like the Texans.
All right. Falcons, Bears.
This one's
interesting.
interesting.
To me, I think it's a kind of easy. I think
It should be.
I think the Bears are gonna win that game. I think they're a little better. I think they're a lot better, honestly, and I think they've been playing a lot better lately. And this is a good opportunity, I think, for Justin Fields to have a good game. So
I'm in full agreement here. I think the Bears get this. They've been in a little bit of a jam right now in terms of their production's way up.
yeah,
Defense has been playing good.
real good.
They're on a 2-win streak now.
I don't.
Did they win back to back, or
won
did
3
they?
of 5.
Okay, 3 of 5 is not bad for their season total being low.
Yeah, they've.
Did they? I thought they played the Lions the week before, so maybe I'm tripping.
No, they had that loss to the Browns.
Oh,
So-
okay. That
So
was
they've
the
won 3 of 4.
3 of 4
actually.
is not bad.
Yeah, 3 of 4.
I think the Falcons have been way too up and down, and yes, they had an up week last week, but I think they go right back down this week. Give me the Bears.
Definitely.
Dolphins, Ravens
Dolphins,
next.
Ravens.
1 o'clock game, pretty crazy for this
Interesting.
being.
Flex that. What?
Yeah, what are we doing? Why is that not flexed?
That's insane. That's a great game. Dolphins are going to be trying to get it done on that secondary, which has been locked down. 4 picks against Purdy last week.
Yeah, we
Kyle
talked about
Hamilton's
it.
really developed.
He's been
solid safety.
Yeah, he has. I mean, the Ravens have a tendency of just having great defensive safeties and
Right.
defensive players.
all the
So
time.
it doesn't surprise me that they've found another gem.
Right, and I think the Ravens get it done there against the Dolphins, and I think they set the table for that AFC East showdown week 17 or week 18.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win too. They're riding high. They are home against Miami. I don't like Miami that much in terms of what they can do. I don't think they're as good as their record says. They're playing a really good team in the Ravens this week. I think the defense messes them up a little bit, so I like the Ravens.
Nice. Saints Bucks, pretty big playoff implications for the NFC South down there. Saints need to stay alive. I don't think they do though.
I can't see them beating them. This has been kind of the recent. They got them once already. The Bucks got the Saints one time. Bucks are riding way too high for me to say they're going to slow down against the Saints. So give me the Bucks.
A lot of momentum for the Bucks. I think they get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Bills Patriots in Buffalo. Keep it short. I think the Bills are a bit much better team. They have a lot more to play for. Maybe Bill will get the guys going, but I don't know. I think the Bills get it done.
Yeah, back at home for the Bills. We did beat them, unfortunately, at home already. But in Buffalo, Buffalo's got a lot on the line. They didn't really look that good against the Chargers last week, but they still got the win. This might finally be the game Diggs gets going because he's been really, really quiet, and he has a tendency of going a little off on us. So I do like the Bills here. I hope the Bills win.
Cardinals Eagles in Philadelphia, pretty get right game kind of for the Eagles.
Yeah, they have to play well.
Gannon going against his old team should be a kind of an interesting coaching showdown there.
I think the Cardinals do a little bit. I don't think it's nearly enough to get the win, but I hope we see a good fight. And like I said, I hope Kyler can still show that he's the guy for next year. I root for Kyler. I like him. So with that all being said, I'm still taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles, and hopefully they can kind of get right.
Yeah.
Maybe, score some touchdowns, get Jalen going. Panthers, Jags in Jacksonville. Jags been struggling. Panthers have been struggling all year, though. Tough loss to the Packers last week.
They almost completed that comeback, and
Scary.
Would have been really cool to see that as the Pats fan, and it wouldn't have mattered. But, hey.
Very scary.
This makes it tougher to pick for this week because if they're going to come out and put up some numbers, maybe the Jags can't match.
Yeah, honestly, this game kind of scares me as like a trap game for the Jags. I mean, the Panthers kind of are riding high. They got, their new coach, Chris Tabor is in a room there. And, I'm hoping they don't, but I'm going to pick the Jags. Or I'm hoping the Jags do.
Yeah.
Hoping the Panthers don't win. And it's going to be a tough one, though. I think it'll be a close game.
I think with this game, it's really tough for the Jags because they're going to have to be watching the scoreboard the whole time around the league. We're going to get to the Colts game right after this pick, but we also have, the Texans-Titans going on. If the Texans are up, they have to match. They have to win because their records are the same. So I think the Jags finally get one here. They've been in the mud, but Panthers is a team to get right on, I'd say. I think they actually do put up some points because the Jags defense has been iffy, but I'm still going with the Jags.
Yeah, look at all these games are at 1 o'clock too.
Yeah, it's loaded 1 o'clock slate. Like you said, it's the college season, so they're getting the playoffs in on Saturday.
Yeah.
No Monday night game.
It's a New Year's.
Yep. So they're doing all that.
Interesting. Raiders Colts. In Indianapolis, I just kind of brought it up.
Yep.
Raiders have been on fire, kind of 63 against the Chargers, and then a big win against the Chiefs.
A huge win against the Chiefs.
Kind of in playoff contention, low key.
They are. It would take a miracle.
But it would start with a win here.
It would start with a win. I mean, it started last week with a win, and I mean they got one.
Right, and they're on good track.
I don't know if it's really tough because the Chiefs just played a really bad game, and they handed them the win. If you can't get the ball out for more than 62 passing yards, you're not going to beat the Colts.
Right.
I mean, I would have said that about the Chiefs, but like I said, they just played bad. They gifted them all those points. And the Colts can do that, but they're strong offensively. Like they will move the ball around.
Yeah, the Raiders are playing really good defensively lately.
But you need offense to at least play with this defense.
Yeah, the Colts, they're going to score some points, but the Colts have been having quarterback trouble. I like the Raiders in this game, honestly.
I was going to say I like the Raiders too. Like I said, I think the Colts needed last week to really keep their momentum up. I don't know if they can get this one. The Raiders defense is just playing really, really good. So I like the Raiders here as well.
Should make for an interesting finale there in the AFC South.
Like I said, though, I do hope they win so that it's that conversation of, both teams are right there.
Right. Rams Giants. I think that should be, an easy one for the Rams, honestly. They've been looking really good offensively, and the Giants They had a good showing against the Eagles last week, but I don't think they keep it going. They're going with Tyrod Taylor.
I think Tyrod does well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's about it though. I think he moves the ball. He protects the ball. I say a lot, and he doesn't commit any turnovers. But I don't think they have enough to get it done. I like the Rams.
37-14.
Yeah, I could see that. That's yeah.
Niners Commanders in Washington.
Again, Jacoby getting the start.
Yeah, Brissett's playing.
I hope he plays all right, but I mean, this Niners team is disgusting.
It could go pretty poorly, to be honest. They're not equipped for this. That'll be a rout. Niners.
Yeah, I think the Niners dominate.
Yeah, Steelers Seahawks in Seattle. This is an interesting one. Seahawks played. They're kind of on a high right now. They've been doing well. So are the Steelers. They had a big win. Man, I think we're probably getting tough. Rudolph. And the Seahawks win that game.
Yeah, I have the Seahawks as well.
They'll give Geno trouble.
I think so. I think this will come down to the fourth quarter. Defensively, they're both good teams. Offensively, they're both there, but like they haven't fully figured it out. It makes for a really good game, but I think the Seahawks can figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. Bengals Chiefs. Interesting. Both these teams kind of coming on big lows here. In contrast, the Chiefs had that tough loss to the Raiders, and the Bengals tough loss to the Steelers. Both of them going to be looking to salvage kind of what they had going for them in terms of their expectations. The Chiefs, I think, have the edge here. I
would agree.
The Bengals with Browning, I mean,
I don't know what we're gonna get from Browning going forward. Like he might have ridden off, the little fairy tale run he's been on.
Right.
We were having conversations with this guy being a starting quarterback next year somewhere. So I mean, like, he would need a really good showing here to get back on that track. He could just be a really good backup going forward, probably for Cincy.
Yeah.
But I like the Chiefs here. I don't like what they've got going on, but they probably do enough to get a win.
Yeah.
They need one.
Definitely an opportunity for Browning, but we will see. Chargers Broncos. Oof. That's kind of
battle of the backups.
Yeah. I have no interest in that game
at
all.
I'll tell you this. I think I'm going to ride with the Broncos. Even though it's not Russ, I've seen what Stidham's done. He used to be a Patriot. He's not that great. But the Chargers aren't good at all, so I like the Broncos.
I'll take the Chargers to be different.
It really is a battle of which way it's going to go. They had their moments last week against the Bills, but
yeah, I don't know. I kind of see it as a toss-up.
It is a really big toss-up, just like it was the last time we had to pick this one.
Packers Vikings.
I don't know why this is prime time.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have said yes if it was Kirk Cousins.
It's not bad football. I mean,
it is a divisional game, but I mean, the game of the week we talked about. It's the Ravens Dolphins. That's the biggest implication.
Is there still time to flex one of these at 1:00, man?
Maybe
Dolphins Ravens, get that back there.
I mean, maybe there's time, but it would have to come out today.
Yeah,
and we're recording on a Wednesday. It would have to be today.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, we're gonna get Packers Vikings. That's fine. Vikings are a better team, and Packers can't play defense, so I think Nick Mullins gets it done.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's tough because I mean the Vikings are still playing for a playoff spot. I don't know if they can do it. What's their record at right now?
7-8.
7-8. Yeah, they kind of needed a few more to really sneak in. Man, it's crazy. We had them almost as a lock for the playoffs.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
We did, and they fell apart.
Oh, man, this one's tough. I think Jordan Love gets it going. I think I'm going to take the Packers here.
All right. Yeah.
I kind of want to see what he can do. I want to see him get one and really booster what they can have next year.
That's an interesting situation. I just think, man, the Packers suck.
They do, but then they have moments where they look really good.
Jordan Love has been a real good quarterback.
I think Jordan Love's the future of the Packers.
Oh, yeah,
I think going forward, they have him there.
I agree. They just can't stop anything.
No.
Especially lately.
I mean, they played sort of well against the Panthers until the end. So, I mean, maybe that's, enough to salvage it and be like, all right, well, it was garbage time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't trust them to win any games.
I don't trust them to win. I'm not going to bet on it, but I'm willing to pick them. I'm willing to pick them here.
NBA?
Yeah, I want to talk a lot about the NBA. We had a full slate, 5 games on Christmas. Kind of want to run through them. I was enjoying the games. They were pretty good. We start off the day. Knicks get the win at home against the Bucks. They kind of cruised the whole game. They were up 10 plus almost the whole time.
Bucks made it kind of close at the end there, but
yeah, I mean, that's a huge win for the Knicks. I mean, they're trying to stamp them into the upper Eastern Conference standings. I mean, the Bucks they were really close to 2 before that loss. So I mean, that's huge for the Celtics standings. I like seeing them lose.
Yeah, no, Knicks kind of solidifying themselves.
Knicks are a good team. They're a good team. I like what they've got going on there. I don't know how deep they go into the playoffs, but I do think they've got something there.
I agree.
We move on. Nuggets defeat the Warriors. Warriors haven't been that great this year, but Nuggets getting a good one, the defending champs, over a team that is probably going to be in their path come playoff time.
Most likely. The Warriors, they always seem to have their struggles and stuff. They're down in 10th at this point.
Yeah.
A good chance they'll end up being there. The Nuggets are going to have to go through them.
I would say. I mean, maybe they get lucky like last year, don't have to play them. But, I mean, I still like the Nuggets over them. But, I mean, it is good to go a long way to say, hey, we've beat you on a primetime stage already.
Right. No, yeah. Nuggets could be a real threat, for that second championship in a row. I mean, they're going to be hard to beat in the playoffs.
I did just see, though, Aaron Gordon a couple hours ago got attacked by a dog. He's going to be out for a little bit. Yeah, serious? He has lacerations, I think, in his hand and stuff. So he won't be playing for a little bit. Yeah, Not like that.
Gordon suffered lacerations from a dog bite at Christmas.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I don't think that's going to affect them too much. But, I mean, he's a good player for them.
I'm not saying this is the case, but what if that's a fake, because this is the second time at this point we've had something bizarre happen because we had the
car accident.
Yeah, the car with
Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, Oubre with
weird stuff. It's weird stuff. Weird news breaking. We got the Celtics. They close out their Western trip. They spent 4 games over there. They beat the Lakers in prime time. Fun game. They start off hot, and they just kind of – Lakers stayed in it the whole time. Anthony Davis went for 40. I couldn't believe it, but, I mean, it kind of looked like they took everybody else out, let him do his thing, and it worked.
Yeah, AD's been going off lately. Yeah. I feel like they've kind of handed him the keys a little bit in terms of their primary scorer.
Which is a good call.
Definitely. I think LeBron's still a good facilitator, good leader, but
he had almost a triple-double. Yeah, he only had like 15 points, but he did have like 9 assists, 8 rebounds.
Yeah, this is a good role for LeBron, especially at this point in his career. Yeah. I think he's aging really well, obviously. But the Celtics making it work. Porzingis 28, Tatum 25. It's a good showing.
It was a great game. Holiday had a really good game, and he's been on fire as of late.
Yes, Holiday's been good.
Yeah, I love him. What a good pickup. Heat without Jimmy Butler beat the Sixers without Embiid. I mean, that game looked great on paper, and then they both get scratched.
Tough.
I just kind of took away from the game, but, I mean, the Heat have been on fire as of late, no pun intended. And they get a big win against the Sixers, who are higher in the seeding.
Yeah, no, I thought the Sixers were going to get that one, but, the Heat are able to get it done. The Heat still looking good. Spoelstra gets the guys going every year.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat are going to be a good team. They're going to be a playoff team. How far they go again is going to be up to them. I mean, playoff Jimmy could be a real threat.
Yeah.
Did it before.
Yeah.
Will he ever get that ring? I don't know.
Right. The East is going a lot more to how you would have thought it would preseason, but in terms of, then you look at the West and it's like, what the hell is going on
you really do see, wow, this is crazy. One of those teams that are high up there that I didn't think was the Mavs, and they fail. They win over the Suns. They get 50 from Luka, and they close out the Christmas game slate with a big win.
Huge win over a team that we thought would be better.
I mean, on paper would be better. Bradley Beal's back out on IR again for a couple of weeks, I think.
I cannot stay healthy this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be his career going forward. I don't know how much you're going to get playing-wise out of him. You obviously like the idea of him paired with Kevin Durant. You like him with Booker. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if you'll ever get to see enough time on the court for it, but they liked the idea of them on the court together.
Yeah, it's a fun idea for sure.
Yeah. They don't get it the workout though. So I mean, they're kind of middle of the pack. They're a playoff team at the moment. I don't see them dropping enough to fall out of that. But
no, they're the 11 seed right now.
Are they actually?
Yeah.
Oh my! All right. Well,
I mean, it's tight. You know, they're only
Jeez, I gotta check those standings.
half
again.
a game out.
I thought they were.
I
thought they were in the 7th seed. Wow.
No, I mean it's tight though. I mean the 7th seed, the Pelicans are only 2 games ahead of them.
Man, do the Suns not make the playoffs this year? There's no way, right?
They have
I don't
KD
know.
at the end of the day, but
They also have Booker. I mean, he's also great.
They should have just stopped there. Once you have your 2, you freaking get role players.
I mean, you see this with a lot of teams. The Nets did it when they did Kevin Durant, Harden, and Kyrie. Like you do too many big names. You know?
I think this team's getting blown up by next, not this offseason, but the one after that.
Yeah, I see young teams. The Magic calling for anybody like Kevin Durant. Like, can you imagine one of those? I've said it for a lot of these younger teams. Like Cleveland could use like another star. Rockets would love to take a star. So yeah, I could see that. Let's talk about the bad here. Pistons, 27 straight losses, sets an NBA record. They could make it 28 tonight. They played the Celtics. I'm really hoping it does go to 28. That would really suck to see us be the team to lose to them. But I have seen in this span that Cade Cunningham is a star. Yeah. He is a really good basketball player.
Yeah, can you imagine being a Pistons fan? Like, you start in the season 2-1. You're like, all right, good start. And you're like, oh.
27 straight.
You're like,
wow.
No way.
Wow.
That's not real. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're a Detroit fan in general, I mean, obviously you're riding high with the Lions, and then you just turn around and you look at the Pistons. You're like, what went wrong here? That you're losing 27 straight.
Man, you're not even getting the good odds at the number 1 pick. It's not like it used to be. You know?
I mean, they probably should have had the 1 pick last year. I mean, I know it's random. We've had our discussions of how we feel about that. But I mean, like 27 straight. I can't believe that. They aren't even that bad.
No, they just keep finding a way to lose a close 6-point loss. You know?
Yeah, I mean they've really barely lost to the Nets yesterday. So I mean it was close.
Yeah, I mean tough. I mean they're paying their coach like what is it, a lot of money. Highest paid coach, sell the team chance.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty bad there.
The Arizona Diamondbacks have won a game more recently than the Detroit Pistons.
That's wild. That is so wild.
That is wild.
But how about this? Ja Morant rolling with the Grizzlies. He himself, now with the Grizzlies, have more wins than the Pistons franchise this year.
Disturbing.
It's crazy. I like seeing the ride he's going on. He had a little questionable celebration that I hope doesn't blow up in his face at the end of that game yesterday.
He'll be fine.
But he gets his second win over the Pelicans since coming back in overtime.
Yeah, look at them.
They're rolling.
Yeah, they're only 5.5 out of that, the 10 seed right now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, hey, I hope they make the playoffs. I think they do. Marcus Smart makes an awesome return. He gets his stat sheet filled up. He makes a crazy play in overtime, strip steal, and the and one foul score. I mean, I'm rooting for him alone. I love Marcus Smart. And I really do like Ja. I love that pairing, and I think we saw a glimpse of what they're going to be for the rest of the season if they're both healthy.
They're a good team, honestly. I think they could make some noise if they can. I think they'll get to the playoffs.
They're gonna figure it. I mean, defensively, they're gonna be one of the best in the league.
Absolutely.
I mean, Desmond Bane, Jared Jackson, Marcus Smart, and we'll see what Ja gives you. That's a really good defensive core.
Right.
And then offensively, those same players are gonna get it done. You know.
Yeah, it feels like in terms of that little like 1-2 rivalry, it feels like Ja always gets the better of Zion.
Yeah, he does. I mean, they're 2-1 against them. I mean, Ja didn't even get to play in the first one, and they've won 2 with Ja. I agree. Pelicans are also a good team. I mean, yes, they're lower in the seeding, but they are good players on that team.
Yeah, no, that's a fun little rivalry, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll be watching that one for a while too.
Yeah, honestly,
they're always going to get compared.
Yeah, it's like a good one. Honestly, I don't even think it's not a rivalry. Obviously,
it's not. But I mean, like when they play, I mean, you gotta do a little peep at it.
You compare the players in their draft class. You know, it's fun.
I mean, hey, you went 1-2.
Yep.
You know,
fun season we got going in there.
We do. NBA's been on fire. It's been really enjoyable. I mean, the in-season thing was a little weird. Now that that's behind us, I feel like it's more just real normal basketball again. And we're looking ahead to the All-Star break and everything, seeing who's going to go. The voting's in. Maybe next week.
He's in the dunk contest.
Oh, yes. Well, next week we'll take a look at all that and see. I mean, we'll obviously talk about when everything's confirmed, but I do want to see who gets in what? Pro Bowl too.
Absolutely.
Start looking at that.
Pro Bowl games. It's not even a.
Yeah, it's not a game anymore. They've added a couple things, I believe, too.
No one even wants to go. Like people used to be like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll go to Hawaii. That sounds awesome."
Yeah,
But
now
like,
it's in a
Orlando.
random place. It's not even, isn't it?
I think it's Orlando.
Is it Orlando
Yeah.
this year? I thought it was at Allegiant.
No one wants to go to Orlando.
That's crazy. Because I mean,
Yeah.
at least it's nice. It's like a little vacation.
Yeah, but it's like it's
Yeah.
not Hawaii.
Yeah.
So it's like. Well,
It's-
like look at you're like a Tampa Bay Bucks player. or
Yeah, that's right.
Jacksonville
It's just-
Jaguars.
yeah.
It's like you send me
They're
to
all
Orlando
right here. Oh,
Okay.
cool. Yeah, I missed the Pro Bowl game. I never hated it.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't their best football, and players began increasingly not caring.
Yeah.
But it was still a football game that
Yeah.
broke up the playoffs.
I like having a game. Like I don't want to just watch them play
Dodgeball, and I mean, like, that's cool and all, but like, I'm not tuning in for that. I see
No,
the highlights on
definitely
Instagram.
not. Yeah,
That's
like,
it.
If something funny happens, I'll see it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not.
So I mean, maybe eventually they go back to that. Maybe they just play flag football and call it
Yeah,
a day.
do that. You know,
Flag
play
football is
freaking-
going into
that's
the
fun.
Olympics.
Yeah,
Why not,
that'd be
boost
cool.
it up a little
Yeah,
bit?
that'd
Just
be-
do that.
That's a good compromise.
I
There's
feel-
still someone decking someone.
Jalen Ramsey.
Fontez Perfect finds a way
Perfect.
in.
Yeah, I totally could see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that makes sense to me. I mean, two-hand touch. I don't know if that's as enjoyable, but at least it's football.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see the best line up with the best and against the best. You
Yeah.
know, that's fun to me.
No, I agree. 100%.
I mean, I just don't want to tune in to dodgeball and
I will not
the
be.
throwing
I can
competitions.
tell you that I will not
It's
be
just,
doing that.
yeah, I can see that in Madden.
Yeah,
I'm good.
literally. All right, and that's going to do it for episode 16 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Hayes.
I'm Dylan Bracha.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next year.
Next year.